Hey guys, this is Woodshop Junkies, and in today's video I am going to finalize my Stump coffee table build. Okay guys, so a couple of videos back I took a rotten tree stump or tree root that was standing around my house for about 4 years exposed to the elements and cleaned it up to this point with the hopes of making something with it. Or well, I wanted to make a coffee table with it, but I was unsure about the orientation. Should I have the roots at the top or the roots at the bottom? So I asked you guys for your opinion. Now the response on that video was fantastic, and I promise I read every single comment. Now the guys that felt I should put the roots facing downwards or at the bottom felt that it looked more natural because the tree's roots are at the bottom, obviously. But unfortunately only 15.4% of you guys voted that way. The other more than 80% of you guys thought that having the roots at the top would be the better orientation or the better looking orientation, and some people even mentioned that the glass top would be a nice option because you'd be able to visualize or see the character of the wood. Now some guys mentioned that the steel cross at the base to stabilize the overhang won't look that great, and after thinking about it I tend to agree. So I'm going to swap out the steel cross for a wooden cross at the base to stabilize, and then obviously the glass top. I might put a wooden frame around the glass top to finish off the project, but we'll have to see how it goes. Now guys, if you have not seen the first part of this video where I clean up the rotten old tree stump, be sure to check it out. I will link it in the description of this video. Okay guys, first things first is stabilizing the stump when it is in its inverted position, and I'm going to do this by increasing its footprint by cutting a wooden cross into the stump. The hardest part in this step is to choose a wood species that would more or less complement the wood of the stump. Now unfortunately I didn't have a huge selection laying around my shop, but I did have a bit of Seligna that was very similar to the stump in grain. Unfortunately it's way off in color, so I'm going to have to try and fix this with wood treatment later on. Because the stump is quite large and bulky, the cross can't be too discreet, but I also don't want the cross being so large that it draws attention away from the stump. So I'm layering planks together to make the cross a bit more beefy, but I'm not going to allow it to extend too far beyond the edges of the stump. I'm going to use a cross lap joint to join the two pieces for the base, and to cut the joint I'm going to be a bit lazy and use my miter saw, because you're not really going to see the joint, it's going to be in the center of the stump. As I said, I'm going to be cutting the cross into the stump, or halfway into the stump at least, to make it look a bit more like it's part of the stump rather than just a cross supporting the stump. How well is this going to work? I have no idea. This is all a first for me, so I guess we'll see when the project is finished. Now the wooden cross is made up by joining a longer piece and a shorter piece, and this is to match up with the glass top, which is oval. And finally, before installing the cross into the stump or into the base, I'm going to round the ends or edges just to soften them up a bit and match them up better with the curvy surface of the stump. Okay guys, so with the wooden cross finished, the next step is the wooden ring around the glass top. Now, because about 90% of this is stuff I haven't done before, I quickly want to take a moment just to run you through what I was thinking or what the idea is here. So what I'm trying to achieve here is to incorporate a wooden element at the top of the coffee table that would match the wood at the base or the cross at the base, and so make it more balanced, to hopefully make the fact that I'm using a different species of wood seem more normal, I guess. To do this, I want to add a thin wooden frame around the outside of the oval glass that's going to be attached to nothing other than the glass top. In short, I want to make a wooden oval ring with a step that will seat the glass and then glue the oval ring to the glass. There's two components or requirements for this ring that makes it a little bit more tricky to manufacture. Firstly is the fact that I want the grain running in the same direction across the entire width of the oval. This means the blank that I need to glue up to extract the oval can't just be 4 planks glued together in a rectangle. I need to glue up planks along the edges, kind of like I'm gluing up the top of a table. But to save on material, I'm leaving out the center. Secondly is the shape of the top, which incorporates round edges and straight edges, so extracting the oval from the blank is a little bit more tricky than just tracing along a cut line or cutting along a cut line. It wouldn't have been if I had a template that I could trace with a router or a bandsaw, but I don't have a template or a bandsaw, so making the cutout is a bit more tedious. To strengthen the glue up, I'm using dowels and I'm placing them strategically so that they fall more or less in the center of the ring once the ring is extracted from the blank. Looking back, I probably should have taken the time to manufacture a cutting template. If I had a template, I could have simply clamped it down onto the workpiece and using my router traced it. This would have given me much cleaner cuts and saved me a lot of time during the cutting process. Shaping the outside of the oval was a bit easier because I was able to use my belt sander. The inside, however, that was a bit tricky because I used a drill with a small sanding drum. Next up is the step that I am admittedly not very good with, which is treating, or more importantly, staining the wood. I figured I would use the same wood treatment that I used to treat the stump and simply add some tinters to get it a bit darker. This was a really bad idea. I don't know if I did something wrong or the chemicals just weren't compatible, but the finish was absolutely terrible. And way off of the color I was trying to achieve. So I had to sand it off again. But this ended up being a bit of a blessing in disguise because after sanding off the old finish, the wood had these little dark lines along the grain which added quite a bit of character. The second time around I went for a product that was already darker and it delivered a much better result. The final step, and probably the one I was dreading the most, is gluing the glass top into the wooden oval. Now, I really didn't know what to do or what the best way to do this was, so I went on some advice I was given and decided to go with silicone. I guess time will tell whether this was a good decision or not, but if it doesn't work, luckily silicone is just on the surface and should be easy to remove if I need to go with a different option. Okay guys, so this project was definitely a huge learning experience for me because it contained many firsts or components that I haven't done before and didn't really have any experience in. But with that considered, I'm quite pleased with the results. I think the project came out great. If I had to redo the project, there's maybe one or two small things I would have considered changing, like making the top slightly smaller or even swapping it out for a round top. But what do you guys think? Do you think it's good as is, or would you change something? Then I want to thank everybody that participated or gave their input on the previous video. It really helped me to decide how I want to finish off this project. And the really cool thing is that if I really wanted to, I can still swing the orientation of the table, but I probably won't. And that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm currently working on a Hot Wheels storage, organizer and display unit for my little boys room before moving back to a few shop storage and organizer units and shop improvements. So if you guys aren't subscribed yet and you want to see those videos, you should do that now so you don't miss out. For now, however, thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Cheers.